on your money, specifically your tax refund. You know, I've been saying for a long time now that 1%ers who live in high-tax states, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Illinois, California, those 1%ers are getting hit in their refund, and their taxes have actually gone up. I want to bring in our tax guy. Brandon Arnold is with us, Executive Vice President of the National Taxpayers Union. All right, Brandon, you've got the numbers. Back me up. Again, my premise is 1%ers and high-tax states have been clobbered by SALT. Tell me.
I'm not sure I'd go so far as to say they're getting clobbered. Let's be honest. Everybody's getting, every income group in every state is getting a tax reduction on net thanks to this tax bill. But the people that are most likely to get a tax increase are certainly wealthier folks, people in the top 1% in high-tax states like those you mentioned, New York, California, Connecticut, and so forth. So if you are in that category, there's about 30% of folks that are top 1%ers in high-tax states will see a tax increase or just saw a tax increase in 2018.
Yeah. 30% of 1%ers, okay, that's the top income earners, 30% of them who live in these high-tax states, they're paying more in tax. That was my original premise. I kept saying that because that's why there is an exodus of people, and it will continue from New York, New Jersey, et cetera, et cetera. Are you with me on that?
Yeah, I think we've already seen a lot of wealthy people leaving those states thanks to the high taxes. And what the SALT deduction did, the state and local tax deduction did, is help shield these wealthier taxpayers from their state tax burden by allowing them essentially to shift that onto the federal government and federal taxpayers. The cap on the SALT deduction at $10,000 that was just instituted reduces that ability for wealthier taxpayers to shield their tax liability. And so, yes, quite likely they will seek out lower tax jurisdictions going forward.
All you got to do is go to Nevada, Florida, Texas, and you're not exactly home free, but you gain a great deal of money. Now, Brandon, the 1% aside, put that on one side for a second. The New York Times, even the New York Times admits that Trump's tax plan is making waves. That counters the argument that it didn't do any good in the first place. What do you say?
Yeah, the New York Times article was pretty shocking, I have to be honest with you. It said that, in fact, 80% of taxpayers are getting a tax cut under this law. I think they tried to use a slightly lower number, but the vast majority of people are getting a tax cut, and yet only about 40% of Americans believe that's the case. And the reason is quite simply because there's been so much disinformation, misinformation in the media. There's been all this confusion about what tax refunds are looking like. So a lot of people are very confused, but if they look at their tax return in 2018, the one that they hopefully just finished up, and compare that to 2017 and previous years, they will see a tax reduction. And that tax reduction is quite likely in the 4, if not 5 digits. It's a significant tax reduction.
One more thing. I've been saying consistently that the amount of money which will flow out of the Treasury this year in tax refunds will be less than it was in previous years because of SALT. Am I right?
Well, tax refunds, absolutely, because a lot of people saw their income adjusted at the beginning of 2018. We had new withholding tables, so people were getting more paycheck to paycheck, and that's why there was a little bit of confusion. That's why people didn't necessarily get the refunds that they were expecting, because they were getting more money over the course of the year. So absolutely, we're looking at tax refunds probably being a little bit down. We'll see those numbers pretty soon, but my expectation is that you're absolutely right there.
All right, I was right. Thank you very much. Brandon, thank you very much for joining us. You can come again, man, I'm telling you. Thanks very much, sir.
My pleasure.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Thanks. Speaking of the president, he's going to skip out on the White House Correspondents' Dinner again. It's being held